France, I can tell you, have taken their pre-season very seriously. Tournaments in Guildford and Elche as well, along with a training camp in South Africa. So clearly they felt there were certain areas that needed attention from last season, and it'll be interesting to see if they can put that to good effect on the pitch. Ledouf, one of the more experienced in your screenshot there, and Brazil, well, they're only going to have a couple of tournaments to play in this series, invitation only for them. They want to make the most of this experience and get themselves off to a flyer here. Both teams ready to go. Amil, Mayon, Goulian, Goussier, Ledouf and Horta, along with Gracineau for France, and they get us underway. First touch of the ball for Brazil, and taken into contact there by Carrillo. Struggle to deal with him, almost forcing a knock-on. Scatrut tackled well by the French defence, and Goulian was up quickest to make that hit. Gives away the penalty though, not releasing, according to Leah Berard.
Brazil need to look at how Russia just played, how they try and keep it out of contact and really speed the game up. These are really small athletes out there playing for Brazil. Going into rucks is probably the last thing they should be doing.
So Brazil go up the line, obviously confidence in their own set piece when they line it on the 10-metre line. No Ishibashi, of course, for Brazil, a big loss. She was injured coming into this series, and she would have been their main strike runners, and let's see if they manage to cope without her. Unorthodox throw, getting ready to come in from Santini. Underarm. France did get a hand to it, but it's come back on the Brazil side. And I think advantage for a knock-on there. Taken off the base by Campos. Looking to release the outside runners. Good pressure from the French. Just couldn't hold on to it. And the knock-on advantage against the girls in blue. They go for the scrum.
Yeah, the pass there from Ramajo. Yeah, it was a little bit hard, it wasn't well directed, so just a bit of panic in there. Just needs to relax, Brazil. Don't snatch at the ball. You've got plenty of time.
Dave Cortex looking on, the French coach. Chris Neely's opposite number. I'm sure they're not going to be quite as animated as we got in the last match, but
no,
nobody would be, I don't think. It's Brazil. Decent ball off the set. What a tackle that was. Brilliant stuff by Fanny Horta, French captain. Brazil keep possession though, and they did well to hang on to that ball. Estevez hits the deck, just short of the halfway line. Dig off the ground from Santini. Trying to break through the tackle is Carrillo. Sloppy ball at the back, and an illegal hand on the ground. France get possession.
That was all about rugby appreciation, attacking, counter-attacking that ruck. Brilliant from France.
Well, here is Christelle Ledouf, as I said, one of the more experienced in the team. She comes in to make the pass. Shipped on as far as Amil. Pell ships it. And he's space on the outside. Nice pass from Goussier. Looking to release the outside runner. France are going to go. Yes, they are. It's a try for France. Fanny Horta. Brilliant stuff on the wing from her. She knows where the try line is. And the first try of the game goes to France.
Brilliant passing, wasn't it? It was all on the money, on the button. And of course, that brilliant in and out just at the end there by the try scorer. You know, she came in, she stopped, then she went back out. Plenty of pace on the outside.
Keep moving, please.
The captain breaks the deadlock.
Brazil.
Conversion attempt.
Thank you.
Right in the corner. Referee just waiting for the rest of the Brazil team to get out of the 22. Ledouf, I tell you what, she struck that absolutely sweetly, but not on target. No problem with distance there for Christelle Ledouf.
Yeah, well, she's played a lot of rugby. I mean, she's represented France, for about 12 years. That's how experienced she is.
Restart from France. Brazil conceding that try, and they conceded a knock-on as well. Scrum advantage against them. The handoff attempt there was from Goulian. The referee says advantage was over. It seemed like there was only 3 steps in it, but there you see the handoff attempt. Tackle into touch.
You know, it's a really big no-no to die over the sideline in sevens because possession is just so precious. So in that circumstance, probably stepping off your left foot and going back into support's a better option.
Santini, again, you wouldn't have too much confidence just looking at that line out, and technically certainly wouldn't advise it, but here is the try scored. A little pop back inside. France going for the second over the 5 metre. Beautiful play, all created by Fanny Horta and finished in brilliant style.
Well, they call it heads-up play. What heads-up play is, you're able to identify straight away where the hole is and react. And if you have a look here, Horta is running across and Grassino comes back on the inside. She was originally out wide, but she saw that the defence was coming across and there was no way they could change direction to take her out.
Still no joy with the conversion, which means that France have a 10-point lead. Camille Grassino taking the beautiful pop pass from Fanny Horta, and Brazil are down by 2 with 2 minutes left to play at the end of the first half. It's been a strong start by the French, not an easy group as we've just seen with Russia and New Zealand, who I'm sure are still smarting from their heaviest ever defeat in the sevens tournament. Taken up by Santini, drifting across the pitch, in two minds about the pass there. Wanted a runner come back inside, but nobody came, and she had to just take the tackle. The Duff put in the hit. That's brilliant stuff by her. France, Horta. She's going to ghost on the outside. Any tackle coming in? Oh, just short, and she dives for the line. She gets her second, Fanny Horta. France's third. They are in control.
They're looking slick, aren't they? And there are 2 points to that try that created it. And the first is their physicality. They're absolutely out-muscling these Brazilian chicks. Look at that strip there from Guglielmo, and just really good passing. Horta, no panic, crawls over the try line in the end. Just look at her. She looks like a great athlete gliding over.
That's what you want from your captain. Here was the conversion attempt. $15 points to nil. France with 3 tries on the board. This one, too much on it. It's gone out of the full. We go all the way back to the centre.
Well, it's their first mistake of the game, really. We nearly finished in the first half. They were good here in Dubai last year, actually, France. And it was about depth in their squad by the end of the season. They'd had so many key injuries, and they really struggled in those last 2 tournaments. But with this squad, with this team, and they're still missing Ludonus, they are going to be a real force.
Last chance for Brazil, just as I say. They've given away the knock-on advantage being played to France. So can they get a fourth before the end of the first half? Le Duff keeps it alive. The pass a little bit tricky to deal with, and in fairness to Lissard, she had to get down low and pick that one off the ground. This is Guglielmo looking for runners, still going over the halfway line. Eventually gips it away, and that went forward. So that should be the last act of the first half. I tell you what, the training camps have paid dividends for France. A very impressive start. 3 tries on the board and 15 points, none of them converted. Brazil need to find an answer in the second half.
Bon, ça y est, on y est. Juste en défense, Soyez très très vigilants de bord de ruck. Vous l'avez vu là, elles sont très près. La première animatrice est très proche. Juste serré, bien ciblé, bien se parler au bord. D'accord? Et au bout, on contrôle et on parle. D'accord? Offensivement, juste un truc, vous allez me le dire vous-même. Mais jouez simple, il n'y a même pas. Envoyez dans l'espace, envoyez les ballons dans l'espace, étirez-les, et après les couloirs s'ouvriront tout seuls. D'accord? Ok? Marjo, tu rajoutes après moi. Il faut marquer. Vous m'entendez? Il faut marquer. Être obsédé par la marque. On marque. Et même pression défensive.
Allez, continue, rajouter les filles. Attention, juste un peu au soutien. 2-3 fois, on a dû voler parce qu'il n'y avait personne, on est à 2 doigts de la perdre. Juste attention au soutien. Allez,
Well, for those of you who don't speak French, clear instructions from the coach there. He just says play it simple, don't overcomplicate things. He said you're only going to beat yourself, so everyone should just do the simple things well, and the gaps will come against this Brazilian defence. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, smart too, because Brazil, they're trying to create things themselves, but that's when the panic comes in, and so they just haven't been particularly fluid when they had possession. The French, meanwhile, well, they look like they've been born to play sevens. It's how comfortable they look out there.
Well, I'm sure they'll be still disappointed by the way they finished the series last year. They were in that top 4 position all the way to the end and just couldn't keep it going. A couple of key injuries as well didn't help their cause, but Brazil will be looking to try and get back into this one now. As I said, they're not going to get too many chances this season to prepare with this level of competition for Rio, and they don't want to embarrass themselves on their home patch. Restart from Coquin. And again, France immediately look to launch that attack from inside their own 22. That's what the French rugby has been all about. Little switch and go. Beautiful sell to the dummy, and Christelle Ledouf goes for the corner. Beautiful show and go from the oldest player in the French team, and France are in straight away.
Well, she might be 33, but she runs like a 21-year-old. And just look at that, just looking at support players, nice dummy. And once again, that's rugby experience. From the start of that try where the angle was changed, when the initial runner who broke the line hit it, and then that wonderful work there by Ledouf at the end just to confound the defence.
Still no joy with the conversions, but France won't mind. This game is all about tries, and that was beautiful. Sold them up the river, and Brazil are really struggling.
She's such a legend, Ledouf, I have to say. Her contribution to the women's game for over a decade has just been phenomenal.
Restart again. Brazil, well, you'd like to see them just put a few faces together, really, wouldn't you, and put some structure on their attack. It's all helter-skelter stuff at the moment. They have a penalty and a chance to go here. Waste no time. Maybe they needed to settle things down, get a bit of structure, as I said, but France quite happy to pick them off one by one. The defence has been brilliant so far. Santini drifts across the pitch, still going across the pitch, needs a runner, finds one in the form of Scatrut. And France again happy to let Brazil have the ball. Coquin to act as scrum half. This is Campos. Campos with a looping ball on the outside. It does eventually find the man, or the woman I should say, Carullo. Kick ahead. You don't see that too often. If she got the pace to get there, she might know the kick has gone too far.
Well, I think there was some promise in that movement, because what Brazil did was stretch the defence one side, and then they pushed it to the right-hand side in pretty good fashion. Even that last pass, you know, it wasn't orthodox, but it made it out to the winger, and that was the key thing. The kick, probably not the option. If it had been executed okay, then it would have come off.
Well, you saw the stats there for yourself. Brazil have given the ball away 8 times as the substitutes prepared to come in for France. Fresh legs there. You can see Amdi, Fourcade, plenty of experience for them. Chloe Pell, of course, no introduction needed for her. And 20 points to the good. 31-5 was the score in London, as I mentioned, in May of this year. You wouldn't bet against France surpassing that total.
Brazil have done a great job, though, in finding new athletes and forming a team. You know, since finding out they were hosts, they really have worked hard to find new names, do rugby social products. So they've done a great job in that respect.
France again looking to launch that attack. How much pace on the outside, over the 10-metre line, halfway line, and just drifting across the cardinal sin, as Mel mentioned in the first half, drifting towards that touchline, allowing herself, Chloe Pell, to be just marshalled into touch, really.
I love the way she ran onto the ball, though, like just the pace and that accuracy of the pass. Gee, that was close,
very
wasn't
close.
it? Might have been a shoelace.
Yeah.
Time off, subs.
4 new faces for Brazil coming on, and maybe they can liven things up.
I can't wait to see Bianca Silva. She's 17-year-old in the number 5 jersey out there. Big raps on her, very quick apparently.
Yeah, product of one of those searches for new talent that you were talking about as well. 17 years of age. The line out again. That one didn't look straight from here. We were right behind it, Mel, and the referee agrees with us.
Oh, what a bummer though. I just would have given it to them.
Yeah. No room for sympathy in this game, though.
I know. I would have tuned,
right.
if I was a ref, I would have tuned a blind eye.
It was a bit marginal, wasn't it? France, let's see what their see, because that certainly wasn't straight, but it's come back on the Brazilian side. So play on, says the referee, and it's a 2-1 overlap now if they can straighten this run and give the pass. This is Coquin with the pop ball on the outside. Sprinting for this one is Silva, the 17-year-old, with her first touch of the ball on her first try in the World Series. Welcome to Sevens.
Doesn't she look like a lovely athlete? Fast and lots of determination, confidence. She ran onto that beautiful pass. She put her head down and she was like, no one's going to stop me getting this try.
Stunning stuff by the 17-year-old. I tell you what, put her in the starting team.
Absolutely. Let's get her out there.
Conversion attempt. Still the flag stays down, 20 points to 5. But look at this, Bianca Silva. Welcome to the game.
She really does look young too, doesn't she? A baby face? Or is it just because I'm old?
Well, I'm not going to say that. You're within striking distance of me, Mel. So, Brazil strike one back and 20 points to 5 with no conversions for France. I mean, they're not perhaps as far as ahead as they should be. With 2 minutes left to play, you feel it is enough, but Brazil, an unforced error there straight from the restart. That's not what you want.
No, it's not. It's the little things you have to get right, and that often separates the best teams who win, because these are such close games usually. That'll
give you an idea of the heat there. The cold towels on the head of the players just gone off. Here is Chloe Pell again. She runs straight into contact, and Raquel Coquin makes the hit. Chipped on nicely this time from Amadi. France trying to suck in the defence, and this is Troncy. Gives the pass away. Amadi couldn't hold on to it. It's gone forward off a blue jersey. No advantage. And Brazil get the scrum. 90 seconds to go. Can they get another try?
But once again, I love it how France are sort of, they take it wide and then they come back just to attack on that inside channel. So rather than working the 10 metre, which is 10 metres away from the sideline, they're coming back another 10 metres, so working at sort of the 20 metre area.
The feed from Araujo. Clean scrum for Brazilian. The pass wasn't, but they still have possession. Little dummy and show. Give it to the speedster Silva now. Let's see how quick she is. She's going to chase this ball, but it's too far ahead of her. Kick there, probably the wrong option. Just put the ball in her hands and see what she can do. She already has one try. And France keep the ball alive. And Gossier over the 22, stretches the legs. And to seal the victory for France, if there was a sniff of hope for Brazil, it's been wiped out by the French number 4, Clémence Gossier, and her first try in the 7 series.
Yeah, but it was Guiglione, I believe, who had the ball initially, who created the space. And here's the end of it here. All very simple stuff, and you can see the fatigue in the face of the defensive player there from Brazil. You know, 14 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but it is in this heat.
Absolutely. I can't do 30 seconds of walking, let alone 14 minutes of running. So the conversion attempt, not good. 25 points to 5. As the hooter sounds. Time for one more restart from France. This one goes to 10 metres. Lost forward by Brazil. And France have one more chance to attack. Do they want it? Considering the opponents to come, I'm sure they're trying to conserve every ounce of energy with New Zealand and Russia down the line. That should be the last action. It is. It's been a very convincing performance by France. Mistakes from both teams throughout. For Brazil, the highlight definitely Bianca Silva coming on at 17 years of age. But France winning out in this one, 25 points to 5.